Hannah, it's Mrs. Lammers. I am just going to record the math lesson that I did today, and I didn't record it at that time, so I'm going to record it now for you. And what we're going to need is you're going to need a sheet of paper, or if you have just something to write on. So I'm going to be using a whiteboard, but if you have a sheet of paper, and you're going to need a pencil. And if you have any little objects around to count, that would be helpful too. Like I have some paper clips that we're actually going to use. If you have Post-it notes, it doesn't have to be these things, but just something that is small and the same, something you can use as counters. If you have any little pet shop people, anything that you can count and put into a group would be helpful. So if you want to take some time to find some objects, you could pause this video and you come back to it, or you can keep going, and as long as you have your paper and pencil, that will work out too. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and use my document camera. Okay. So now what you're doing is you're looking at my document camera here. And what we're going to do for math is we're going to start talking about multiplication a little bit more than we did last year. We're going to focus in on multiplication. So on your sheet of paper, you're going to write exactly what I'm writing on my whiteboard. So at the top of your paper, I want you to write multiplication. And then I want you to write the symbol that we use for multiplication, which is the X. Okay. So what multiplication is when we are talking about, first of all, we need to have groups. If we have groups, then we can think about multiplication. So groups is like when you gather in one place. So one thing I can think of that a group would be is if you're sitting at a table. So I'm just going to draw a table. It's not the best table, but so right now it's a table, and usually more than one person sits at a table. So the table would be where we gather or we sit in a group, right? So these are supposed to be my chairs. So right now, groups is the first thing you need for multiplication. Okay, I'm going to take those little marks off here. The other thing you need to do if you're going to have multiplication or know about is that you need to know that there is an amount in each group. So there's some amount of people or objects or something that's in a group. So this is actually, if we can picture this as a table, this is one table or one group, but there's nobody in the group yet. You can think of also a bag. A bag is something that we put things into, right? So if I have one bag, I can say I have one group, but I don't know what is in the bag, and I don't know what's in the table yet. So think of something that comes together in a group, and then you need to have an amount in each group. So let's take this table and let's just put some, these are people. Sorry, they're bad pictures. So now I have one group, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4 in that group. That is the amount in the group. Or if I have one bag and I put some vegetables or fruit or something in there, once I put something in it, I know how much is in the group. How much is in the bag? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, so if you could write this down or kind of make your paper look like mine, know that multiplication is when you have groups and you need to know the amount in each group. So if you want to pause this video and just write down what I have on my board, that's going to be the first step. So you can pause now. Okay, when you have that written, we're going to take this a little bit further. And I'm going to use my Post-it notes. And this is going to be a group. This is going to be a group. And this is going to be a group. So how many groups do I have? Well, you're going to count the Post-its. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 groups. So that's what that first number can mean in multiplication. It's how many groups you have. But I didn't put anything on the Post-it yet. I don't have an amount for each group. So that's what we're going to add to it. And I have some of my paper clips here. And I'm going to put some paper clips. And in multiplication, it's usually the same amount in each group. So if I put 2 in this group, I better have 2 in this group and 2 in this group. So now my next number in multiplication is the amount in each group. So I have 2 in this one, I have 2 in this one, and 2 in this one. So the amount in each group is 2. This is the groups. This is the amount in each group. Amount in each. And we are going to multiply to figure out the total number of paper clips. So how can I figure out how many total paper clips that I have? There's actually 2 ways we can do it. The first way is I can just count the paper clips. So go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to do it out loud. I'm just going to count the paper clips to figure out the total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so 3 times 2 is 6. That's the first way. If we have a model, this is a model of the multiplication problem, we can figure out the total. The second way we can do it is with numbers. There's 2 and another group of 2 and another group of 2. So what can we do with those 2's? How do we put numbers together in math? If I'm putting things together to figure out a total, I think you thought about it. You add. So I can do 2 plus 2 plus 2. And that will give me 6. Multiplication is the same as addition, but you're adding the same number every time. In this case, we're adding 2 and 2 and 2 not adding a different number. They're all 2's that I'm adding, and I'm adding it 3 times. Here's 1 2, here's another group of 2, another group of 2, and that equals 6. So our lesson is short. What I need you to do is to draw out the model. You can draw, instead of having Post-its, you can draw the squares and draw 2 lines. So instead of clip the paper clips, you could just go like that in your drawing. And that could be your model. And I want you to show that this model is 3 times 2 equals 6. And then this is called repeated addition, because I'm repeating the same number. So you can add the same number 3 times. Okay? After you get the board my board copied, I want you to, the takeaway from our lesson is that multiplication, you need to have groups, and you need to know how many in each group. And also know that the amount that's in the group is going to be the same every time. Okay? So that's our lesson for today. Just get a general idea of what multiplication is. And then tomorrow, we're going to do a little more practice with multiplication models and repeated addition. See you tomorrow.